don't worry if you're a beginner or you're already somewhat prep. You're still going to learn a lot of awesome things. We're working on a test that you can take, actually looking at what you have around you, in your house, and it can kind of do an assessment of how prepared are you and how long can you last.
That
So
yeah,
we're going to be setting
exactly.
that up, and then we're going to have also a manual on how to do, and that's going to include a checklist. So we're going to make it very easy, to be able to, you don't have to do all. There's a million things that you can look at, whatever, but it takes a lot of your time and a lot of looking in different directions. We put it together. We want to put things together where it's easy to digest, and you just check it off the list. Every week, for example, you tackle certain things that you could just say, okay, now I'm good with water, I'm good with food, I'm good with lighting, I'm good with this backup batteries, this and that. It just makes it easy. It
Yeah.
just, I think we can do it step by step. So don't worry if you're a beginner or you're already somewhat prep. You're still going to learn a lot of awesome things.
Yeah, exactly. So, our motto, by the way, our mission statement, just to what our company stands for, and this podcast is survival simplified, life amplified.
Yeah.
I think where that comes from is we want to make it as simple as possible to, if
Yeah,
you are in a situation of survival, we want to make it simple for you to know what to do and be prepared. And number
that's our
two,
mission.
life amplified, to me, what that means, and the reason we came up with that, right, guys, that you can live life more confidently if you would,
Yeah,
being
Yeah.
prepared.
Oh, yeah.
It like
Definitely.
amplifies your life. So, guys, the next
definitely.
question I wanted to ask us, and especially you guys, I wanted the audience to kind of get to meet you a little bit, meet us, and understand what our background is, and that way, um, where we're coming from. So, who wants to go first?
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say we've tried a lot of things. Some have done really well, and some, we've had some failures along the way.
Hmm.
We've tried a lot of different, I would say, ventures, or projects. We're always working on something new, um, and we're currently in the, one of our main things is the food business, and there you always have to be prepared for all kinds of things that go sideways that you don't expect. There's always, every day almost, there's a, something that comes that just, takes you off the course. You're like, oh man, just the freezer broke down, the delivery truck is not, on time. You always got to scramble, so it's like continuous, almost, you're in a continuous prepared mode as soon as you wake up. And Donnie, I think you can relate to that. In your side of the businesses that you've done, there's always, stuff that happens. So yeah, that's that's kind
Yeah.
of our.
So it's you mentioned that your background, you're from Romania and you experienced this revolution. So that that is a probably important piece of information and what we're talking about. Anyway, so thank you, uh, Dan, and
Oh,
Danny, and then I.
well, yeah. Well, same. My brother, we run the business together. The food manufacturing company. Um, yeah. This your question reminded me. David was telling me about getting ready. We ran out of potatoes one time. Our supplier and I had to scramble, and it was crazy. I had to find a new source of potatoes. I think it was in 2021. some disruptions were happening, and it was really interesting. Yeah, I had to really figure some things out. But yeah, no, we've we come from a lot of hard work, thank God, and a lot of I like this motto: um, work like no one will, so you can live like no one can. And I really like to put in the work, do delayed gratification, and to be able to be confident in the future. So, and that kind of works with life prep as well. Prepare now. Nobody really wants to do that now, but um, when if something does go bad, you're well prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
So nice.
yeah.
I mean, I think you guys are humble and summarized it tightly here, but there's a lot more to be said about what you guys have done and achieved. I think along your business and more than that, I think you guys have an array of such rich backgrounds of friends, by the way. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. I know you guys didn't bring it up, but you have so many connections. Every time I talk to you guys, we talk, like, hey, I know this guy. I have a friend there. I have a friend there. So I think you guys are major networkers that I don't even know if you guys think of that as a background or a quality. So I wanted to say that about you guys. I think you guys are great at networking and just making friends. My background is also business, and that's how kind of we got to know each other a little bit better and kind of start this journey is because we're in the food industry together, uh, which is a very hard industry.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, like you said, Dan, Donnie. Anyway, I'm in the same industry, but I also have an engineering background as well. I'm also from Romania. I grew up in a different town and left there when I was just 11. I grew up in Arad, there from Sibiu, and moved to the States with my family, and I've really lived here. I consider myself an American now, but obviously Romanian American, but first and foremost, I guess an American. So I also came from Romania. I'm an engineer, like I said, but my passion has always been entrepreneurship. So that's why I always looked and I always clicked with people that had that mindset and so on and so forth. But but like I said, I think it's nice. I do enjoy if something's organized. So I'm kind of I click with this idea of life prep because I kind of like to have things organized, I guess. And to me, this was a chapter that was not organized. I'm not saying I'm organized now, but it's a chapter that needs to be organized. And so I don't know. That's kind of how I click with this, and that's kind of my background. And anyway, um, I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about sharing good news with people. So this is another, a little bit about me is that like just sharing these concepts and ideas and products and things we discovered with the world is amazing. It's one of my missions, I guess you could say, in life. So that's why this clicks with me,
Yeah.
um, and yeah. So I'll say that, and that's a big part of my background. I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, and I think we all do, and you hear that on the show. If you stick around with us, you hear a lot about that because it's a passion of ours. We are Christians, and we're believers, and that's going to be intertwined with the show as well as with our company.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about background. Do you guys have anything else? Anyway,
Definitely. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
Yeah. No. I think spiritually, it's very important to be prepared more than physically, and that's yeah, that's definitely a huge thing, and we want to talk about that too, and mentally, how you want to be that person that people are, looking up to, hey, we need help, and you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have the resources. And there were times in the, back in the days in the Bible and ancient times, where God set out a few or one person, to help out, saved, maybe hundreds of, thousands of people, who knows, through their Joseph, and some of those Moses, and some of the
Jonah,
times.
Jonah,
Yeah,
right? He sent Jonah to the city.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, and sometimes some people were misunderstood, but God uses, and he can use you, and everybody that's listening right now. Maybe God has a plan, for you to be one of those people that rises up when the time comes, and you do what has to be done to, take care of things, just save a lot of lives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I was gonna mention what you did, David, because some about Joseph. You know, some people have the idea of like, well, God's gonna take care of us, and He is obviously, but it comes through other people, and just like Joseph prepared for years with all the grains and everything, and then like when the famine did come, he had not only for his people, he was able to bring in others and help others out. You know, so
Yeah,
you might be end up in a situation where you're the only person that's prepared on the street, and you can actually uh, you know, help your neighbors, and in this way share the gospel with them.
that's part
And
of the gospel. Yeah,
I think that's a really practical story example for this, because if you guys remember in Joseph's story, God gave Pharaoh a dream, ironically, right? And then he interpreted the dream, which was God warning him to get prepped.
yeah,
Ironic.
yeah,
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 Get
yeah.
prepared, guys. This is
oh
what's going
yeah,
to happen in 7 years. Like,
Yep.
gather everything for 7 years, because 7 years of famine will come. And
Hmm.
that's an interesting story, right? Which I think relates to this. And um, I don't know, in a way, we could be that, Joseph, if you would,
Yeah,
to people. Hopefully, you'll never have to, but if we can be, and it comes in handy, although we hope it doesn't have to be, but it will inevitably. It's life. And anyway, we can.
yeah.
That's an interesting scenario. We should definitely talk about that story more, because I think it really
hmm
ties into it.
yeah,
Guys, the
definitely.
next thing I wanted to, before we kind of wrap up this particular podcast episode, if you would, what are some of the things that our audience can look forward to? Some of the toppings that could be coming up soon.
Well,
Oh,
I think we're gonna cover all pretty much all the life essential stuff first. Okay, when me and my brother were hiking at our land, down south, it got dark, and we actually, believe it or not, we were a little disoriented, from the path, and
we were on the third ridge, so it
yeah,
goes through like levels of ridges, and it goes, it drops down, and you have to go through an actual path to get to
Yeah,
the bottom ridge.
yeah, I
So,
remember you guys telling me.
yeah, when we were
um,
exploring a lot of different paths, it was getting dark, and we just couldn't find the path that we were. It's just, woods. I mean, you're just going through the woods. It's a little crazy,
it was
and
very abrupt. You couldn't jump down.
yeah. Now we just realized, in that situation, is what do you need to survive until the next day, and basically it's shelter. Right? The first thing you got to make sure is, like, you're not gonna freeze, you're not gonna, get messed up by the elements, and then water, obviously, but shelters first. Then, so we're gonna be talking about how
Yep.
you can, yeah, secure your area where you live. Then water, food. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
a lot of
And
things
I
that we
mean,
what's
have.
I think
awesome.
this is like a preview, right? I mean, honestly, I would tell our audience here that we have so many toppings we discussed, but this is a free for all right now, guys. Let's throw that out there, some samples, and I think you just did
Well,
the. What else? Some of the cool things
yeah.
we
So
talked
like
about.
as far as shelter goes, which is a small little preview. There's something that you can like like it's I don't know if my stuff here, like very very small thing, like an actual tent you can carry like almost in your pocket, and it's called life tent, and you can actually like take it with you everywhere, and you would be covered. I mean, there's just like a small preview. It costs like $15 to have. You have a tent for two people. I mean, it's very inexpensive, very easy to do. And if we would have had that on that time, I wouldn't have. It would just like set it up and go to sleep. Instead of getting stressed out. We made it back home, no problem. But it was a little dicey, that's for sure.
Okay, so basically, we're gonna talk about like some simple survival skills if you're in a
Yeah,
situation like David mentioned, some really cool products and gadgets that have to do with survival and just being prepared. Right? They're gonna be. I think
yeah,
we're. I think we're really excited about sharing that, like maybe live on one of the podcasts as well as just talk about it. A lot of stuff. What's cool is you guys have tried it, and maybe I've tried some stuff, and now you're kind of giving audience like a cheat sheet on using that and what to buy and what not to buy. So stay tuned for that. I'm really
Exactly.
excited, and I was telling you guys, I'm really excited about talking about those tiny homes that you can potentially build on a land like you guys purchased. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about talking about how to purchase land out in the boonies just to enjoy as for your family or friends, blah blah blah. But if something does happen, right, I'm excited
Mhm.
about that. That's a passion of mine. The tiny house. Another topic I'd look forward to talking is maybe being prepared financially. How do you budget, blah, 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 for your family?
Exactly.
Love to have one of those experts. I know
That's
you
huge.
guys mentioned that you have some friends that were former ex Navy SEALs, right? We'll have them on the show talking about survival, like David just mentioned, but I some defense stuff, right? And situational awareness is one I look forward to having on here. So, what else? Come on, guys. I know we have a million ideas.
there's a lot of categories. I mean, we have it on lifeprep.com. And it's a lot of different things, and each category encompasses a lot of different things that we can go down. But I think we have a lot of stuff to show and explain, and to you know have it ready for everybody, to an easy way to understand it.
And
Yeah.
even going through some of the checklists that we are gonna be they're gonna be available, the manual and the checklist. Just going through that, I honestly, even me, as I've been, I know a lot about, throughout the years, I kind of know all the basics and everything. It just, you're like, oh, I missed this, like I gotta get this done. Like for example, I just got a landline at my house because if the cell phones go out, the landline still works. Just simple stuff like that any family could have a backup. Just having a backup to communicate with your parents or whoever's near. That you could get together with. Communication, for example, that's huge. We got to figure out. How do
So,
you communicate if the power grid is down? What, you don't
so we'll
even
be
know where
talking
to
about
move.
that.
Yeah, you don't even know, you don't have a plan. It's like you're just going to be like totally blindsided in that moment. You don't want to get in that situation. So
Another
there's
another thing that I know you and I we all discussed is probably past situations and disasters that happened that we can learn from. Like I remember you guys we were discussing the Texas situation where they didn't have power for 2 weeks, right? And
17
people
weeks, 17
were
days in
shocked.
the dead of winter.
Right, exactly. So I think we'll be talking about some of these disasters that happen, earthquakes in Turkey, for instance, that we can learn a lot from in those scenarios. So really interesting toppings, I feel. And I think along the way there'll be some funny stuff as well, and we're gonna laugh and maybe who knows, hopefully not cry, but that's part of the emotion sometimes. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. Hopefully you
and it
guys
and
will
I
stay
think it
tuned for this journey.
yeah. I think if the audience is interested in a topic, we'd love to delve more into it and cover something that, what do you think is very important? Because, for example, everybody is living in different situations. Maybe, you're at an apartment, maybe in
Yeah.
a high rise. That's totally different than me, in the suburbs here, or you, Donnie, or, so we all have different scenarios, and we can look into that to see what would be the best, in those situations. So everybody has a unique,
Yep.
setting or situation. So
So, I mean, I think for the first few episodes, we have a lot of ground to cover. We have a lot to tell you guys. We have a lot to share. But I look forward to a podcast, like you said, where maybe the audience comes in and asks questions openly. We'd love to have a session like that.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, bringing in some experts where the audience can come in and directly ask them questions. I think that's going to be a big part of this podcast,
Oh
whether
yeah.
it's
That'd
through
be
email
great.
or text or whatever.
yeah, definitely.
Uh, David, you brought up the website. We do have a website, and this is how this podcast came about. We want to share a lot of those products that we use and are passionate about it. Lifeprep.com, check it out. We want that to be like a huge resource. Whether you buy something or you don't, use it as a reference. We have a lot of articles on there that we share with people that'll help you. But this podcast amplifies that. So check it out. Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot to be said on what's coming up. We're excited about the possibility here.
Yeah,
But am I? What else,
definitely.
guys?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna be having some videos on how to do it yourself, in case you don't want to spend, the money on certain products. We want to have, there's different resources you can look on, just, marketplace, and get some of these things used, cheap,
Oh yeah.
like you can. There's so many different things that you can get where it doesn't cost a lot. So we want to make it where it doesn't take a lot of your time and it doesn't cost a lot of money. We just want to get the good high quality stuff that it's easy to click on and just do it.
So a lot of hacks as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Definitely.
A lot of hacks.
And we're on a journey. We're all learning. I mean, it's a continuous, it's knowledge. Knowledge is awesome to have. And if you apply that and you practice some of this stuff, you're gonna be confident. Like you said, you're gonna be like, just uh, feeling much better about taking care of your family and friends. You just, it's a different mindset. Like you're ready to go. Whatever happens, you're not like freaking out. You're gonna be a lot more calmer knowing
Yep.
you have.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited. Looking forward to the next episode. Stay tuned with us. Come along this journey with us, and I think you will enjoy it, and we'll enjoy having you along. Like I said, contributing, because at the end of the day, we want it to be a community-driven project.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Thank
See
you,
you guys next time.
everybody.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today on A Life Prepped. However, remember, whether you're a seasoned prepper or just getting started, Life Prepped is here to help you be prepared for anything in any emergency. For more tips, tricks, and expert advice, head on over to our website at lifeprep.com. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to our social media channels. We'd really love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. Also, join the conversation or continue the conversation using the hashtag LifePrepped. Till next time, have a great day.